Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's corvettetoday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. Also, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here every other week. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. We're the week before Father's Day.
Yeah, it's a good week. I always expect a lot of presents. It never happens, but we can have high expectations, right? I'll get the call. That's good enough for me. And in fact, saw the kids over this weekend anyways. It's just one of these things that we deal with and we move on. But yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody out there this week.
A happy early Father's Day to all the Corvette dads out there.
Exactly.
Keith, let's start our Corvette news as we always do with Corvette production update from the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Yeah, sure thing, Steve. So again, we continue to see steady production of the 2023 Corvette since our last conversation. For the Stingray models, we always just a little couple days off here or there, so the numbers are always going to be just a little bit more than what I'm going to give you. But right now we're showing 34,650 Stingrays have been produced. Plus we have another 3,600 70th anniversary Corvettes. So our totals right now are 38,326 Corvette Stingrays for the model year, which again, if you had said, oh, you're going to build 38,000 Stingrays. Now we also have Z06 numbers. And again, they're just continuing to grow. It seems like they've reached a point where they found this happy medium between the Stingrays and the Z06s, and they're just putting out these same numbers almost daily now. For the Z06, we're seeing 2,841 produced, and then another 573 of those are 70th anniversary models. That's a total of 3,400 Z06s already.
Wow.
And again, we still have plenty of time to boost that number up. Totaling the Stingray and Z06 numbers together, 41,740. Again, just an amazing number. We talked about, I think last time we were together, we had just broken through the 40,000 barrier. We're already at 41,740 and probably we're a little bit behind. We're already closing in on 42,000 cars. And guess what? 4,200 of those are 70th anniversary models.
Wow.
We've been looking ahead and obviously trying to figure out where we'll end up on September 1st when the 2023 model year closes. We could have 5,000 70th anniversary models produced if they're still able to make them. We know that there's been a little bit of constraints there. They actually took the bag bags off. The 70th anniversary bags are no longer available.
The luggage.
But yeah, we could really see some really huge numbers for 2023 model year.
That's amazing that we've got over 40,000 Corvettes. And last week, Bowling Green built 150 E-Rays as well, which is a great number.
Oh, yeah. So these are pre-production cars, but they're saleable VINs. So up until right around the Bash, in fact, it was Kai Spandy at the Bash said that week they were just starting to build saleable VINs. Prior to that, the VINs were EX VINs or experimental VINs. So any car built with an experimental VIN is getting crushed. But these cars are pre-production, so they'll have a different VIN structure than when the customer cars go through. But they built 150 of these. I think it was between May 24th and May 26th. This comes from Roger Keel, who charged the production of the Stingray and Z06s on Facebook and who we get a lot of our numbers from. Definitely shows that these 50 E-Rays were built per day over those 3 days. Really interesting. And again, what we think about the E-Rays is that they're going to use these cars for testing and evaluation, and then eventually they'll end up being offered to dealers to sell as used vehicles. We see the Corvette team members, they're among the recipients of getting these E-Rays, and they'll be driving them, and there'll be some other VIPs around GM that'll also be driving them. So pretty cool to see those numbers out there. And again, we're getting closer to production on the 2024, so it just shows that everything seems to be moving along.
That's so exciting. I can't wait to see these E-Rays on the street, buddy. That'll be great. Also, we had the first 2024 order cycle for Corvettes, and we found out that's going to start at the end of July.
Yeah, so we always seem to be getting these different things happening. Used to set your clock to how they would structure these order cycles, but now all of a sudden it's like what was supposed to happen this week doesn't happen this week. GM doesn't tell the dealers this. They just don't get the numbers to do any ordering this week. It was actually last week Chevy changed up their ordering cycle again. We're supposed to see it probably June 22nd now, and then we're guessing June 29th we'll see the final Z06 allocations go in. But yeah, what we did learn was that there was a memo that did go out, and according to that memo, it showed that we already had this news, the 2024 Corvette order guide will drop on July 10th. And then a week later, we'll get the build your own configurator with pricing for 2024s on July 18th. That's when that'll go live.
Good.
This was the third part of that cog, is that the first order cycle for the 2024s will open on July 27th. If they do it like they've been doing it, we assume that that'll just be only for Stingrays, and then they'll probably follow up either a week or 2 weeks later with Z06, and maybe a week or 2 weeks later with E-Ray. Those could be changed. We don't know exactly how they're going to drop that. We don't even know if E-Ray is going to start right away. They're going to take orders right away, or if the Stingrays and the Z06 is going and then move into production. Again, we don't know that information, but we do know 2024, the first order allocations will happen on July 27th.
Good. And we had something come out called the 2024 Corvette E-Ray Playbook. What is that?
Well, Steve, it's actually something I made up. And I'll tell you how I got that name. Back in 2020, when the Corvette Stingray was preparing to launch, Chevy reps had access to a specialty website called the 2020 Corvette Playbook. It was a really slick website. It all had information to educate and inform them about the packages, the options. Of course, this was a big move going from the front engine rear-wheel drives to the mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars. There was a lot there to inform and educate the reps. Basically, it was a 8-page PDF guide that came out for the reps, and it was all about the E-Ray. There was some differentiation that showed the Stingray, the Z06, and the E-Ray, what they're all good for, where they all excel at. And then, of course, all the options and the special stuff that makes the E-Ray special with the battery pack and the front-wheel drive motors there. We called it the 2024 E-Ray Playbook because it mirrored the 2020 Corvette Stingray Playbook. And again, just chock full of great information. Most of this information's already been out, but for the Chevy rep that wants to brush up on all the details and have it all right there at their fingertips, it was a really cool PDF to see. It was actually shared by a guy on Facebook who works at a Chevy store down here in Florida. It does come directly from Chevrolet.
Nice. Also, speaking of Chevrolet, they did adjust their rewards points programs for Z06 buyers, which I was really glad to see.
Yeah, so I'll go through the details here real quick, although many, I'm sure, are aware of everything that's gone on. It was last summer, Chevrolet announced a new program to reward buyers of the 2023 Corvette Z06 for their loyalty with 500,000 reward points, and these are valued at $5,000. They would get those reward points if they didn't sell their car within 6 months of taking delivery. Obviously, for those buyers planning on owning their cars long-term, this is great. great because you could use these points for parts and accessories. You can use them for service visits. If you're financing your car through General Motors, you can even pay down your loan through GM Financials. It sounded like you just signed on the dotted line. We saw the form that people had to sign off that they said, yeah, hold your car for 6 months, you get the points. But it was never really understood that there were some extra hoops that a buyer had to jump through. We didn't find that out until Austin Speed Phenom on YouTube went live with a video saying that he'd owned the car for 6 months and reached out to Chevrolet and found out that he'd been denied his points due to a technicality for not registering correctly within that 30 days of ownership. Of course, that blew up. People were calling Chevy reps left and right. Thankfully, Chevrolet jumped in and they corrected this pretty quickly. I'm glad to see this happen. So what they've said now is that they're giving all 2023 Corvette Z06 buyers until December 1st to enroll in the My Chevy Rewards programs and to get that 500,000 point vehicle retention awards. Now I'm going to read you what Chevy said. They said, documentation signed by the customer will be updated to state that enrolling in My Chevy Rewards is required for claiming points. It will also alert customers that points will be uploaded 45 days after the customer reaches 6 months of ownership and is enrolled in the My GM Rewards program. They give that 45 days because they actually contact the states, either the DMV, the Secretary of States, or whatever office handles the Department of Motor Vehicles in that state to inquire whether that VIN is still registered to that owner or if it was transferred to somebody else. Some states do it quicker. Some states take a little bit longer, so they're giving themselves 45 days to do that. As we close out this model year, we're not sure if GM's going to continue this program into the 2024 models. We've seen that over the course of the year, it really doesn't do much to discourage flipping. The real problem affecting Z06 sales and the perception of Chevrolet in the minds of Z06 buyers, it's the dealers that are the ones with exorbitant market adjustments. It's not the flippers that are causing this. So it'll be interesting to see, but we're glad to see that General Motors did step up and is making sure that anybody that did buy a 2023 Corvette Z06 can register and get their reward points as they promised.
Absolutely right. I'm surprised that they don't get people registered when they take delivery of their Z06 at the dealership.
Some dealers are really good about it. You get points just for buying a car. It's not you're waiting for these 500,000 rewards points for owning for 6 months. And this is down to any General Motors product. You buy a car, you register for the program, you get a certain amount of points just for the amount that you paid for that car. That's even good for some service visit for parts and accessories and the accessory catalog. It's definitely worth doing. A good rep will walk you through that process and have you all set up.
That's great. Well, buddy, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to flip things around a little bit. We're going to do the lighter side of Corvette coming up next on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Whether you've taken delivery of your C8 or have one on order, learn how Wheelcraft can help you transform the look of your Corvette and save you money. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. We can also refinish existing chrome wheels. Wheelcraft offers factory wheels on exchange, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, call Wheelcraft to transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. And don't miss Wheelcraft on the road. See their finish in person at Bloomington Gold in June and Corvettes at Carlisle in August. Wheelcraft will also be located on the Midway at Carlisle with their very own mobile tire installation on site. Exchanges of the C8's 5-spoke, Trident, 20-spoke, and Z06 wheels will take place on Installation Alley. Call early and place your order for installation at Carlisle. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call us at 833-639-4231. That's 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
The Radiator Grille store offers C8 Corvette A-pillar wind diffusers in beautiful carbon fiber or OEM gloss black that help reduce wind buffeting when a window is open. Easy installation and OEM fitment. Plus, get 10% off your total purchase with the promo code CT10 at radiatorgrillstore.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. As the #1 supplier for American hydrocarbon, we've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
VetteFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetteFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetteFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
And now, back to the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today, with your host, Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Summer is here, and so is car show season, and you want your Corvette looking its best. Dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels from Wheelcraft. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Wheelcraft.com or give them a call, 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. We're going to cover the lighter side of Corvette in segment 2 here. Keith, the E-Ray is featured on the cover of Forza Motorsports, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, for being a new car and out, it's always a cool honor. You know, we always talk about, well, I don't say we always talk about, but I remember it was a big deal with my sons whenever the new Madden game came out, you know, who was going to be on the cover of the Madden football game. So if we think about motorsports, it's pretty cool that we'll see the 2024 Corvette E-Ray on the cover. This is a racing game too. And so it's also on the cover. It's going to be joined by the 2023 Cadillac V-Series R, the Le Mans racer that we just watched at Le Mans this weekend. So yeah, they went a little pure racing with the Le Mans LMDH car, and then of course the Corvette E-Ray, which is a touring sports car. I had Forza Horizon back in the day. My son took the Xbox when he went to college, so I'm not playing too much anymore. But this is a pure racing game as opposed to the Horizon game, which is kind of the open galaxy of wherever you could go, you could drive and stuff like that. But this is kind of a huge update. They've got 500 cars in the game, over 100 new vehicles have been added, and there's like 800 customizations. There's weather modes as you race. The conditions on the track change. I mean, this stuff is so realistic these days. It's pretty amazing. In fact, you go through YouTube, you sometimes get tricked. You think, oh, look, I'm watching racing, and it actually is just a clip from a video game, but it's so damn realistic that you don't catch it right away. You might have to stare at it a little bit longer before it realizes that, wait a second, this isn't quite real. But yeah, this is a big news. E-Ray on the cover of Forza Motorsports might make me have to go out and buy another Xbox.
There you go. You know, I've never been a gamer, but it is amazing how realistic all these, whether it's Madden or the Forza is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, people are serious about it too. And of course, you know, there's the leagues. And remember during COVID, we had the iRacing series, which was all virtual with real drivers. So there's definitely a place for it. And there's even that series I recall of a bunch of these guys that played the racing games, and then they got a shot to actually go and race real cars and make it a career. So yeah, this could open the doors, you know, as you start off younger. This is a great way to get kids hooked on cars and driving and be excited about motorsports. I'm all for it.
Pretty darn amazing, buddy. Also, this is so cool, and kudos to all of our friends at the National Corvette Museum. The Stingray Grille at the museum appeared with Guy Fieri on Guy's show called Guy's All-American Road Trip. How darn cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I don't watch a lot of Food Network shows, but I know Guy Fieri. I actually saw him at a SEMA show when they did a special car with him kind of throwing around some ideas. I think it was black with some yellow accents. He's actually a big Chevy guy. He's got Corvettes, a bunch of cars, and he's a yellow car fan too as well. So it's always fun to hear him. And of course, he just loves food. And when you're talking about the Stingray Grille, where else can you go and get a Wagyu beef Stingray burger and then take some hot laps over at the Motorsports Park across the street, right?
Exactly.
It was a fun episode. Glad to see our friends up there getting some kudos. The Stingray Grille has actually come a long way. It used to be this diner, had kind of a 50s motif to it. It was cool and all. They've really upgraded, made it special with the addition of calling it the Stingray Grille. It's really come a long way.
Yeah, I love it. It's a must every time I go to the National Corvette Museum is have a meal over there at the Stingray Grille. Also, Keith, we saw the top 20 dealerships come out so far, didn't we?
Yeah, this was kind of a surprise. One of our sources inside Chevy sent us this report that details the top 20 Corvette dealers, and it was through May 31st. So it gave us a good snapshot of those first 5 months. We're lucky as Corvette owners because we have options when purchasing cars. Whether you go to a national dealer or you go to your local or regional dealer, there's no real right or wrong answer. It usually just comes down to who can get me a car the soonest and who can I pay as close to MSRP as possible with. These high volume dealers, when compared to the regular Chevy dealers, they just have experience in selling Corvettes, and that's why they do so well, and that's why so many people go to them. One of the downsides, though, of working with one of these national dealers is for their in-demand vehicles like the Z06 or the E-Ray, they've already had these lists that have been out for a long time, and so getting on one of those now can be a real challenge, and that's where working with your local dealer might pay off. So there's upsides and downsides to going national or going with your local or regional dealer. We've got this list here. McMulkin Chevrolet is still the world's largest Corvette dealer. They took that title from Sioka in 2022, and they show no signs of letting up. They have a pretty commanding lead over Sioka Corvette right now. Sioka is number 2. For this report, we did see a little bit of shakeup in that top 10. Baumman Chevrolet Dadeland has moved into the 3rd position, and Mike Furman at Criswell Chevrolet is just behind him in 4th. We've got the list up on CorvetteBlogger. Hopefully, we're going to be adding to it through the year. We call it a guide. It's a great guide to seeing who's selling Corvettes. It's your choice. It's good to have options.
Absolutely right. Also, the ghost of Henry Ford has kind of reappeared here. You know, Henry Ford said you can have any color car you want as long as it's black. Well, in Japan, that's the same thing. You can get a C8 Z06 in any color you want as long as it's black.
Yeah, in fact, we use that in our headline. The first batch of all the right-hand drive Z06s to be sold in Japan are actually going to be black coupes with adrenaline red interior. And you think, why would they do that? It's the logistics. It's the logistics of customers ordering. You know, do you let them order anything? And then you have to build it, and then you have to ship it over to Japan. Or do you come up with a program release, which is what we've seen them do with these export cars on initial launches? I think as we go on, people will eventually be able to get to order their own custom cars. But for these initial launches, this is what we've seen. So again, in Japan, it's a black coupe with adrenaline red interior. And some of the additional options include competition sport seats, torch red seat belts, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. None of these cars are going to be Z07 performance package cars. Oh. So they're all going to be the lower wing cars. Because it's an export, they're all going to have the export exhaust systems with the quarter mounted exhaust, not the quad center exhaust. And that means they'll have a slightly lower horsepower rating of around 636 horsepower because these quarter mounted exhausts, they have these gasoline particulate filters that are required over there. Anytime I do an export story, I get the naysayers saying, oh, you should be serving the United States first. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Steve, we're talking maybe 15 or 20 cars.
Right.
That's what Chevy can produce at Bowling Green during a single shift. I don't make too much of they're stealing our cars or we're giving away all of our allocations. What we're doing is we are seeding these export markets with just enough cars to make them very exciting for the people over there. They'll get to see them over there. They'll get to hear them over there. And then hopefully they'll want to order one when the next allocation rounds come around for those export markets. Again, it's a great strategy. It just shows what we call the world domination tour of the Z06 just continuing to happen.
I think it's a great thing that Corvette and the Z06 is a world car. I see nothing wrong with that. I'm looking forward to seeing it out there in Europe and Japan and in the UK and everywhere else.
There are Corvette fans everywhere. We follow a couple guys over on Twitter. I don't know what they say. Everything they tweet about is in Japanese language and stuff like that. But they are hardcore fans. They get together. They go on cruises. They do shows. They go to the racetracks. It's a way of life. We do it here. They do it there. And we're glad that they're celebrating America's favorite sports car.
Absolutely right. All right, buddy. Time for our final break. When we come back, it's Corvette Racing coming up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Welcome to the world-famous Auto Direct Corvettes, America's best pre-owned Corvette destination. Family-owned for 70 years and 3 generations, the #1 Mid-Atlantic Regional Dealer of the Year for 15 years in a row. Corvette enthusiasts nationwide all say we have the best Corvettes in the USA, with 125 Corvettes and exotics in stock. We are C8 and C7 Corvette heaven, and proud to say 50-year Corvette specialists. AutoDirectCorvettes.com, 856-461-1199. You're going to love our Corvettes as much as we do. We guarantee it.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through 2 doors. Door number 1, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number 2, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work-optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
Car Capsule brings you the official multi-award-winning Corvette SC1 Showcase. It's the ultimate form of protection, preservation, and presentation for your Corvette. No dust, mold, or mildew. This officially licensed GM product features all 8 Corvette flag logos, Corvette branding on the panels, a carbon fiber look and feel, and interior chip onboard lighting, plus the IntelliCharge battery charger with the fan backup system. It takes only 5 minutes to inflate, and it won't collapse when you open the doors or during a power loss. It's a freestanding drive-in, drive-out operation. See it at carcapsule.com or call 219-945-9493.
You're listening to the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Summer is here, and so is car show season. You want your Corvette looking its best. Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Don't forget, if you want a deeper dive into any of the stories Keith and I cover on this show, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In this final segment, we switch things up. We're going to do Corvette Racing and Corvette rumors here. First of all, Keith, IndyCar drivers took a lap around the Detroit Grand Prix in a brand new 2023 Z06 pace car. That was so cool to see, especially because we're kind of crossing over into IndyCar.
A little bit, this is what happens, though. You got Chevrolet as an engine builder in IndyCar. And so we've had the Indianapolis 500 and the Indy pace car has always been the Corvette recently. They essentially just recycle that pace car from the Indianapolis 500, and then they use it in different events going forward through the IndyCar season here this summer. So we've seen this previously the last couple of years where leading up to the race, there's always a little bit of dead time here and there. And so Team Chevy will put a couple of their Chevy drivers into the Corvette, say, yeah, go around the track. We'll put a couple cameras in the car and go have some fun. First of all, this was kind of a different course because for the last few years, the Detroit Grand Prix was held at Belle Isle. They recently moved it downtown. It was a 1.7-mile circuit, runs along the Detroit River. A lot of elevation changes with these streets. And of course, you have the tight confines of the street course there. So it's always, I think, a little bit more exciting anyways. We had a couple Chevy drivers, Callum Illett and Augustin Canapino. I hope I said their names correctly. They got to drive the red mist car around. A lot of times it's the first time they've been in the new Corvettes. They'll be like, wow, there's a lot of carbon fire. Wow, look at this. Oh my God, this car's so fast. The reactions are a lot of fun. And that's why we enjoy these, because generally during an IndyCar weekend, this happens. And so we are always looking for it. And again, it's just the fun content there. And of course, the hero shots, the picture of the Z06 stationed in front of the General Motors Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit. It's basically the car and the racing coming home for all the people that work at General Motors in Detroit and the surrounding area. So it's probably a big celebration for them as well. So we just enjoy this. It's a great time to see the car, to hear professional drivers remark about the first times they're in the car. It's always good news.
Yeah, and street courses are always so challenging. Just like Monaco for Formula One, I'm sure the Detroit Grand Prix is going to be something similar.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this last time, is they had this really unique format for the pit lanes where it was split. So the pit lane ran down the middle and half the teams were on the left-hand side and half the teams were set up on the right-hand side. It was almost like a zipper effect when the cars would come in and then they'd go back out again. Just a neat way to do things. Every street course is different, but yeah, like you said, they're always challenging and accidents happen. That's the thing.
That's very, very true, buddy. In the rumors section, Keith, on Wednesday of last week, we got a bombshell dropped on us, and it talked about the possible ending of Corvette Racing next year.
Yeah, we've alluded to this, the fact, and I'm really torn on it. This is like your favorite sports team, not just leaving the market, but folding and going under, and you never hear from them. Corvette Racing, we've been following this team for 25 years, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, all the great drivers, all the great leadership, Doug Feehan included, and it's just the end of an era. With all the changing regulations with GT3, we just got away from having a professional category of GT cars, and everything now is moving towards the GT3 and the amateur drivers and independent teams. So the writing's been on the wall for quite a bit. It's really just coming home to roost now. On the flip side, I always try to be an optimist, Steve. And on the flip side, what we're going to end up having is more Corvettes in every race if everything goes correctly. We had 2 cars as professionals in the Daytona Rolex 24 Daytona. Next year, we could be looking at 4 cars, 2 in a GTD Pro car and then 2 in a GT Amateur. So there are still things there, but we're not going to see a factory-backed effort from General Motors and Corvette Racing and Pratt Miller. And in fact, Pratt Miller, as we talked about with the live stream and everything they're doing at Le Mans, they are actually transitioning away from Corvette Racing and the Corvette Racing Twitter handle. Now a lot of that stuff's under Pratt Miller Motorsports. The writing's been on the wall for quite some time, and we're going to get into, I know, talking somewhat about the support of GTE. I'm hoping, Steve, that we will just have more racing, more Corvettes. Everybody's going to then have their favorite cars or teams, and it might not necessarily be the next one, but I think it's going to be exciting, and it should still be good racing for the fans. Even though we're saying Corvette Racing is going away, the spirit of Corvette Racing is still going to be with us, and in fact, we're going to still see some of the same drivers. We're going to see some beautiful cars. I want to say that it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I hope it will be. And let's talk about the GT3R program, because Pratt Miller is going to support the GT3R program.
Yeah, so again, we're looking at 4 teams in IMSA, maybe another 2 cars over in WEC, the World Endurance Challenge. So 6 cars right away. We think that they have to build 10 this year to meet homologation standards. They have to do 20, I think, overall to homologate the GT3 correctly. Sounds like it's in the process. It sounds like people are moving. We're hearing that teams are going to start getting their cars probably around November of this year in advance of January's start and all the racing that goes on there. The way that they're going to support the program is obviously through parts and service and engineering. They're going to actually even provide race strategy help. And then, of course, there's the driver. So Chevrolet will still maintain a cadre, a quartet. We don't know exactly how many drivers they'll have, but there'll be pro-level drivers that Chevrolet will have, and then they'll hand those out to various teams. So Jordan Taylor might be racing in one team's car. Antonio Garcia might be racing in somebody else's car. They'll have different drivers, a silver or a bronze underneath them, but it still is a Corvette driver. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. They've been studying, especially overseas, how teams handle the GT3 supporting aspects of it. They've been going to school on this, and so hopefully they get it all correct when it actually happens.
And finally, Keith, we had a huge monumental win at Le Mans last weekend.
What a way for Corvette Racing to close out its 25th year with the class win at Le Mans. I think it was 2016 since we won there last. It was definitely due, but anything can go wrong in these 24-hour races. And generally, if it's going to go wrong, it does go wrong. But it sure felt like stuff was going to start to go sideways on us. But yet they put their heads down. They never gave up, which is, again, the great team motto from Corvette Racing. And they made it happen. Le Mans is such a fickle beast. These ups and downs the teams go through, it's just like another. We had that great practice sessions, and then Nico Varone had that accident where the car went off and did some damage, significant damage actually, to the side. They had to change all these parts out. Qualifying was just 2 hours later, but they were able to get it done and went out and not only qualified, they qualified in third place, and that put them in for the Hyperpole, which is this new competition surrounding the pole. So they take the top 8 cars in each class and they have what's called the Hyperpole, and then they use that to set the grid and the course. And then Ben Keating just runs this great lap in the Hyperpole, puts the C8R on the start of the grid for GTE. We're sitting pretty, I think. Looking at the start of the race, we're in the very first position. All right, let's get it done, right? And then the race gets going and you're all excited, I know a lot of Corvette fans were certainly worried when we saw that car back into the garage. I think it was in hour 2 of the race. It was a suspension failure, but the crew changed out that right front damper. It was back out on the track again, but we lost 2 laps. And I got to tell you, I was very nervous. I know the people online were nervous too. But once I saw that rain starting to fall, I thought, okay, this is going to be our equalizer. I think this will help us get those laps back. Of course, right around the 3-hour mark, we had a chance to get a lap back, but the team says that, nope, they kind of screwed up at Le Mans this year at that first time out with the safety cars. They said that a group of cars, including the class leader, were allowed to leave the pit lanes before the safety car came around. So not only did we not get our lap back, but we lost out some advantage with our tires. We were ready to put the pedal to the metal and see what we could do there. But the only thing you can do is just keep going. I got to tell you, Nico Varone, what he did there, 19 hours left to run, he was lapping the circuit 4 to 5 seconds faster than the class leaders. And when you can do that just over and over and over again, you're going to get your laps back. We finally did get one of those laps back with about 8.5 hours to go. And we were on the lead lap. Keating then had a triple stint in the middle of the night, which got us even closer. I mean, it's just amazing. And he says for him, it was just real easy. He just gets in the zone. And he says it's not a physical track, so it doesn't wear you out. You just lock in the zone and go. It was interesting because I was waiting for the team update last night. I was expected to come after 10 p.m. and it didn't come until 2:30, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So I got that updated and went to bed. We were running P2 in class at that point. I couldn't believe it. Woke up this morning, the team was leading. All 3 drivers did fantastic in keeping their cars out of trouble. Again, Nico Varone late in the race with 3 hours to go. He set the fastest time for all GTE drivers. And then he came back and beat the fastest time again. The fastest time lap was 3 minutes, 50 seconds. I mean, there was just no stopping the kid. Nicky Katzberg, final driver in the race, he brought us home, win our 9th Le Mans. We beat the second place Aston Martin Vantage by 2 minutes and the third place Porsche by nearly 3 minutes. So not only did we win, we won with a great margin. We got 3 races left in the WEC. We've already won 3 races. We are so far ahead. I think we only need like 4 points to secure the championship. And there's 3 races left. So I think that's going to happen. I think our next trip out, we got Monza coming up July 9th. Of course, we won there last year. We've got a trip to Japan coming up in September. That's the 6 hours of Fuji. And then our final race for the C8R will happen in November at the 8 hours of Bahrain. Just fantastic. Corvette Racing has a commanding lead of something like 80 points over the other GTE cars. I think it's a great way to close out the C8R era in the factory racing era for Corvette Racing. Just a remarkable win. I couldn't be more proud of my guys. That excitement around it. We're really going to miss that next year, but we'll have more cars racing next year. That's always the goal. Maybe that'll be the great equalizer.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Corvette Racing. They won the GTE Amateur class, and it's the 100th anniversary of Le Mans. Well, Keith, thanks for being on Corvette Today. We'll see you in 2 weeks, buddy.
Sounds good. Everybody out there, keep waving. Go to the shows. Tell everybody about Corvette Racing and how well they did. Maybe one day you'll grow up and be a race car driver too.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors, Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.